All right, just got a notice from Twitter, so I don't know if that covers all of them.
I think it does because I'm watching the YouTube now.
All right.
Well, guess what? We come with a hard intro because we just had us a good conversation that didn't nobody even see it. We had some technical difficulties. Oh, y'all want me to go back and play the intro?
Let's go bring it back. Let's go bring it back. Let's run it
All
again.
right. Everybody get to see a little bit of the back room. All right, we get ready to play the intro, y'all. Let's do the intro. That was a good practice run, wasn't it, fellas?
It was.
Man, we was kicking some serious knowledge to nobody.
I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate being called to nobody to my face. At least you called it to my face, man.
It's all love, brother. It's all love.
It's all love, man. Well, I'm gonna see if we can do it again, and we're gonna have to use an abbreviated open since we've got a guest coming on at the bottom of the hour.
Mm.
But I am not Brian Fulford. Everybody, newsflash, I am not Brian Fulford. That is Kelvin Rozier. That is Marcus Green, and I am AD Drew sitting in for Brian Fulford, who off on assignment, but he should possibly be coming off his assignment and be joining us at the top of hour number 2, which really isn't our number 2 since we didn't start our number 1 on the proper time. But anyway, I digress, man. What's going on, fellas? Calvin, what's happening, man? Get me about this mess, man.
It's a beautiful day in Zumanda. glad to be with my rattlers and my brothers and sisters.
Marcus, bail me out, man.
You know what? It happens to the best of us. Technical difficulties, messing around with different stuff. You know what? But it's all good in Rattle Land.
Look, it's 2023. We should not be having internet and connectivity issues in 2023, fellas. We don't have dial-up anymore. We got high speed, fiber. We got all different kinds of things. And as long as you got electricity, you should have internet. Matter of fact, most people would prefer internet over electricity right now. And I'll be doggone.
Humans, so it's always gonna be imperfect, no matter the technology.
And anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you see the scroll at the bottom of the screen, asking y'all tips. We definitely need some tips because obviously somewhere up in there we need to tip the internet man so that he don't snipe me before the show gets ready to come on, and then we forget to actually push the live button when we start having a whole conversation in the back room. And I know some of y'all out there, Brian, I know you watching, but they don't really like you. They like me. So I'm gonna ask them to give me the like button today, my brother. Push the like button for your boy AD. For it. Well, all my SBI people. I need you to go ahead and push that button. Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Download the JBN app by JBN/MyBCSN, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. And I also need you to go to your favorite podcasting service. Download the BCSN Pod Zone. Amazon, Spotify, iHeart, Apple, Google, and many more. So, fellas, we only got about 2 minutes before we need to go to break and bring on our first guest. I like these little short segments like this. But I'm gonna re-ask the question that I asked when nobody could hear us, but the two of you guys. Man, do y'all food bill go up during the summertime for those who have kids? Because they stay in the refrigerator all the time.
Sure does. So you got to get them outside.
You put them in accounts, my brother. That's what you do. You keep them busy,
Mhm.
man. Get them out the house. As long as they in the house, they using up the AC. They drinking up all the Kool-Aid. They eating all the collard greens. So absolutely, they got to go. When I go out the house, they got to go out the house too.
Wait a minute. Well, y'all the ones like me, you went to camp. It could be a basketball camp, it could be a football camp, it could be swimming, even though I swim like a rock, or NYSP, or whatever it is. And then you come home, you get in the shower, and then mama send you off to vacation Bible school.
Yes, sir. Good.
Mhm.
I'm a good, wholesome Christian boy. That's what we do in the South. You know, we got to go get some Jesus in us.
Yep.
You know, the old folks always worry about you backsliding, right? They always think you're
Right.
gonna backslide. Go back to your heathen days. Some of us ain't never had heathen days.
You were too young for heathen days. And
Marcus, how many vacation Bible schools did you go to over the summertime, my brother?
I didn't go to vacation Bible school because I got shipped off to grandma for like the whole summer. So it was
Wow.
like every Sunday, whenever she would go to the church, anything she would do at the church, I was right there next to her. So it was like it wasn't like a vacation. It was like Bible school.
I mean,
Wow.
it was a version of Bible vacation Bible
Hmm.
school, and don't forget about when you visiting, you always got to stand up when they ask any visitors of
Yep.
the church and stuff. You know that you're gonna make you stand up.
Yep. She'll
This,
look dead at you like
this,
poke you
this
in the
my
rib.
grandbaby.
Hmm.
And what the ladies in the church always gave you, you always got that peppermint. Always got that
Yeah,
peppermint, my brothers.
yeah. They keep a peppermint in a purse, and also the adorable young gentleman I was, with the fat cheeks and the dimples. They always pulling on your cheeks. Hey, baby. Look at them
Look,
pretty dimples.
I think I went. I think I would go to every denomination. I went to Lutheran. I went to Catholic. I went to Baptist. I went to AMB. I went to Episcopal. I went to every denomination vacation Bible school that there was. I even went to non-denominational vacation Bible school, man, just to get out the house. Yeah, come pick him up. He be ready. He be ready at 5 o'clock. He be ready at 5:30. I'm hopping in cars with people who I don't even know. But that was back when you could do stuff like that. And as Edward Moore Kelvin says, as if you left the heathen world. Shout out to all those joining us here on the O&G StrikeZone. Let's see. Let's get some shout outs in before we get ready to go to this first break. Name you may know Kelvin. Kenneth Roser is on. J Back. B Starks. Berry 305 always there with us, even with the technical difficulties. Uh, Kevin Bull Butler. Fangs Up is here. Demetria Alfer, Melissa Williams, B Starks, J Mac. I think I said J Mac already. Tamara T, Edwin Moore, Chuck Hunt, always in the house. Ashton Harris, hey, keep on making those comments, y'all, and all those who
Sweet.
I see, all
Sweet.
those who I see in there. If y'all don't put that thumbs up button and subscribe, don't give me no more comments. I'm not nice like Brian. You better hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're gonna comment in our chat room. I'm gonna say it. That's what they taught me in SBI. You can't do nothing unless you open your mouth and say it. All right, fellas. Think we're still waiting on our first guest to arrive. So we want to keep going with the show.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah, let's
get
go.
let's get with tennis first.
Let's give it tennis first. I thought you was gonna fire up that grill there, Kevin. I mean, Kelvin. You don't have the
Follow.
grill fired up.
Oh no, well, I'm not gonna use it on my own yet.
All
We'll
right,
save that for later.
all right. We gonna save the two and barbecue for later.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it. Let's get into tennis then. Uh, Lady Rattlers lost to Georgia 4-0 in the first round of the NCAA tournament in Athens, the host site for the opening round at the Dan McGill Tennis Complex. Just as an FYI, Georgia won the 2023 SEC title and received the automatic bid to the tournament for 36 years.
Yes.
Wow.
You ought to see their facilities.
So let me get this straight. 36 years. That means they have been to the NCAA tournament every year since I was a freshman in high school.
With the same head coach. He's retiring after this year.
About damn time. Oh, let somebody else get a piece of it.
Hey, and by the way, Florida State played them the next day and they got shut out 2-4-0. And they were ranked.
And they have hosted for the last 12 years. Hosted for the last 12 years. That means the last time that they did not host, the people who are graduating high school this month were in kindergarten. Let's think about that. Let's think about that. So taking a look at, I gotta pull this up.
Yeah, the ladies. I'm sure they were excited to get in their first tournament, the first one that we've been. I don't remember. I know. I think according to the records, we were MEAC champs in the late '90s, but I don't know if we made the tournament back then only because there was a lot of PR about this being our first tournament appearance. But just to make that showing and to go up against pretty much a formidable team and give them some competition, and get on that stage and get acclimated, especially with such a young tennis team. I think we had one senior and one graduate.
Yeah.
So to have that experience and be able to carry that for the next 3 seasons of eligibility and carrying that into next year's schedule, into next year's SWAC schedule, the tournament, and then hopefully the NCAA's again, there won't be as much, if any, apprehension or any surprises.
Right. Looking at the scoring for that day, let's see. Sarah Rakim and Sierra Sandy lost their match 6-1 in their doubles match. In singles play, let's see. Reagan Harris topped Genesis Whitelock 6-love 6-1. Yeah, 6-1, and Rebecca Gaines lost 6-1, 6-3, if I'm looking at this correctly.
Yeah, I think the key was we understood we were facing long guards and
Yes.
and Marcus hit it dead on the hill. It was more about just the exposure. It's a reward for going undefeated and winning the SWAC. Again, we have a sit president out, so our court is young. So it was a good first step. And let's face it, Georgia is a powerhouse. Put midway like a $28 million upgrade to their tennis facility. that they already have. I said 28 million. So
That
it is what it is.
28 million funds FAMU Athletics for 2 years, and they spent that on one facility. Yeah,
Just tennis.
yeah. Looking at the results, I just found the results. In doubles played, the most we got in a set was 6-2, and there was only one single. Rebecca Gaines was the only person who got more than one game in a set. She lost 6-1, 6-3. So everybody else lost their sets either 6-1 or 6-love. So hey, it is what it is. We made it to the ship, and this is a war. And we got a couple minutes. I'm gonna go there with this conversation. We talked about this on our Sunday show. We were talking about tournaments, HBCU tournaments in general, and there's been some talk about reducing the fields for some tournaments in some sports. Baseball, with basketball is already reduced, but in some of the sports and some of the conferences. Somebody made this good counter argument. For us on the HBCU level, this is the experience because be it tennis, be it basketball, be it whatever, there's only one team who's going to get beyond. So for us at our level, the conference tournament is our ultimate reward and having the chance to compete and win at that conference tournament. The problem with some of our conference tournaments are some of the experiences aren't the best that they could be. At one point in time, we used to play a lot of times in NFL venues. We played in NBA arenas. We played in major league or minor league baseball parks and things like this. Now we've kind of regressed from that in the name of saving money. What are you guys' thoughts just in general on the conference tournament and the conference tournament experience? And me having experienced a couple of conference tournaments when I was coaching in the SIAC. But I just want to get you guys' thoughts on that.
To be honest, I haven't been around them enough to in the SWAC to say one way or the other. What I would say, I did go to like the MEAC basketball tournament about 6 years in a row. So, uh, overall, you know, I think we kind of get what we get. I can't say that it's bad or great. You look at the Legacy Bowl, well, the what is it, Celebration Bowl? I'm sorry. Uh, it was pretty well attended, and it's on national TV. So I think we've got some wins, some pluses with fit. The non-revenue rating sports, they seem to pick decent neutral venues. So I would like to see more coverage of those tournaments, though, right? There should be some more TV something and revenue streams built into that. And it would be more we have sponsors so that the teams participate and do get packages uh, like other tournaments and so forth. But I understand it's a process. I do like the direction that the SWAC conference and it has been going and with certain things, and we just got to keep building upon that.
Yeah, yeah. And there was a point in time where just about every tournament you had some type of banquet or awards banquet or something the day before the tournament started. But a lot of conferences have gotten away from that. Marcus, your thoughts just in general on our conference tournament experience?
I've only been to a couple, and the majority of them were when Family was in the MEAC, so I haven't had a chance to experience SWAC tournaments. But much like Kelvin said, you have to balance it with convenience for the teams that are participating within your regional footprint, the cost, and given that all of these sports overlap with other collegiate conferences and the pros, that severely cuts down on the number of venues that are open. So you also have to think about competition, who's hosting, or who's available, or has an arena available, not only for the sports but also for any other ancillary activities that the arena may sell out for. I mean, much like, even though it's in the pros, but you look at my Atlanta Hawks, which lost in the first round, but they surprised the Boston Celtics, took them to 6 games, and they had to move Janet Jackson today because they had the tournament booked for her the same night, which would have been Game 5. So you have conflicts with all kinds of things, and also you want to make sure you build a fan following. So you don't want to get something that's oversized and you lack the community feel, and you just feel like you're in one of those box stadiums that it's just cavernous and you're not really getting the feel for the tournament. Because that's what really builds it up. All these tournaments that we tend to watch and perhaps even be envious of, when you think of the ACC, that they had meager beginnings and it built up based on a regional following and regional teams, and now you see the behemoth that we have now. But it built up back in the days when college basketball was very regional, not on TV, or if so, very rarely. So if you had a good team, you had to be show up not only to the regular season but to the tournaments to cheer them on.
Yeah, and I
Hey,
will say
Drew.
this. Yes.
Drew. Let me just jump in real quick and say we may need to consider, especially for the non-revenue sports, and I know we do that for track, but we may even need to consider, because I know we do it in football for the SWAC championship game. On-campus facilities. The SWAC does have schools that have pretty good facilities in a lot of different sports. If we're not going to
Hmm.
have
Prairie View has
sponsorships
one
at
of the
those
best
neutral
tracks.
sites,
Prairie View has
yeah,
one of the best tracks
yeah.
in, in,
So
in the nation.
so
Yeah.
I'm
No.
all for featuring our universities.
Yeah. Yeah. Now the only problem with that, having been in that position, man, hosting a tournament at your facility
These,
is a whoo-wee. And the student athletes who are at that host institution, they may not get that true tournament experience. And I'll take baseball for example. I was just at the SIAC baseball tournament last week, where it most people who play baseball at our level, guess what they have to do? They have to maintain their field. If you first base, you go out and rake first base. If you the pitcher, you go out and rebuild the pitcher's mound. Catcher, go back in and fill in the batter's box and all that stuff. So if you hosted your baseball tournament for your conference, guess who is the grounds crew? the home team. So that particular group of kids, even though they get to sleep in their own beds and their own dorms and all that stuff, they don't get that tournament experience because everybody else going back to the hotel. Everybody else going to Applebee's or whatever to eat. They going to the calf.
well, I would hope the conference would help with in terms of the logistics stuff, and if you hosting it and so forth, that can be negotiated. That's a small thing to me, but you know having it away from campus, neutral site, poorly attended, yeah, everybody get to go and participate, but what does it do in terms of actual teams and the status of the conference? I, you know, I, I want to see us go somewhere other than just saying we play each other at this facility, right? It needs to be more than that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Whatever the facility is, couple of things. The facility needs to fit the crowd expected at an event. If you're gonna have 2,000 people at an event, you need to be in a 2,025 seat venue. Because 2,000 people in a 10,000 seat venue looks like crap. 2,000 people in a 2,500 seat venue looks good. Just saying, just saying on that. And number two, whatever city we go to, we got to do a better job of marketing it to that particular city. You know, nobody knows that you're going to have A, B, and C tournament until 3 days before the doggone tournament comes. And last thing, number 3. No, I don't care which sport it is outside of football. Basketball tournament, baseball tournament, softball tournament. It could be tennis. It could be track. Nobody comes to these events during the day. Why aren't we partnering with the local school district in whatever city we are and let them kids come out for free? Because one of them kids who come out for free will possibly wind up at one of our 12 SWAC institutions. I'm just saying. I'm going to leave that right there. Fellas, we ready to go? We're ready to take our first break. All right, this is what
Our guest there.
No, I do not see our guest. Hopefully, I don't know which one of you guys arranged it. I'm just captaining the ship right now. I have no numbers. I have none of anything right now.
I got it. I got it. They'll be on in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Oh no, they're coming on now. So this is what we're gonna do. I see them logging in right now. So we are going to take our first break, and then we are going to come back with our first guest of the evening. You are watching the O&G StrikeZone. Marcus, Kelvin, AD, in for Brian. We'll be right back after these messages.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
We're back here on the O&G StrikeZone. Looked like we lost our guest. He was in the waiting room, and when I went to pull him up, he disappeared. Don't know if there. I think there's Craig coming back. If Craig can hear me, if he can turn on his camera, and we'll go ahead and bring him up on the screen. While we do that, I'll go ahead and introduce him. Craig is the interim executive director of facilities planning and construction at Florida A&M. He's part of the Bragg Lawson School Board sound system projects. He's in charge of the Bragg parking lot project, P3 in athletic budgets, and the housing projects demolitions. There he is, my brother.
Yeah, I'm a little dark. I'm driving, so it's a little dark in the truck. They leave my son track meet. Son had a middle school track meet, so I got to do my father duties.
Oh, you got to do the father duties first. What did he run in that middle school track meet?
Well, today he just did the long jump, but he's a sprinter. He usually run the 1, 2, and the 400. He also run for Tallahassee Zoom Track
All
Club.
right.
So
All right,
yeah.
yeah. Track was my sport back in the day. I used to love that long jump. That was my specialty. Anyway,
Right.
brother, enough of the chit chat. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Been a long day, but everything good. I can't complain. The day my birthday just turned the big 50. So
Happy
Happy
birthday, brother.
birthday.
I appreciate you
Birthday.
coming on your birthday, man.
hey,
Happy.
exactly. I only do this. I only do this for you, Roger. I wouldn't do it for nobody else.
Hey, what better way to spend your birthday than with some rattlers, man?
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna leave it at that. I got you. But it's all good, man. I appreciate y'all guys having me on. I
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Yeah.
Kelvin, we're gonna let you lead it off, man.
Well, Craig, won't you kind of talk about your background and your certification and so forth? Talk about you know, um, your qualifications, man. Let's start there.
Yeah, my background is in architecture. Got a 4-year degree in architecture at Florida International University. Then got my 5th-year degree in architecture at uh, the luxurious FAMU, and then got my master's degree in facilities management at FAMU. Been doing architecture and construction for over 25 years on both the public and private side. Um, Architect by trade, so right now I've been director of facilities planning and construction at FAMU since 2014. Just been promoted to the executive director of facilities planning, construction, and safety. So got a lot of years experience under my belt on both sides, the private and public side, and in the construction and architecture. So that's a little bit about me, originally from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
All right, my brother. I know a lot of our you can actually go back and start with say about of the stadium renovation went, and then just talk about, of course, the scoreboard, sound system, and the parking projects.
Yeah, as you know, we've been working for a long time to bring Bragg Stadium up to par. The last 2 years, we were working on bringing in new grandstands on the east and west side. You know, get rid
Oh, but must have hit one of them dead spots. We'll let him rejoin us in just a moment.
Did we lose him?
Yeah, we lost him for a second. When he
Did we
comes
lose
back
him?
in,
I
yes,
think
we
so.
lost him. Yeah, he said he was driving, so he
Okay.
must have hit one of them. Must have hit one of them dead zones. Must be coming back from McCullough or something, heading back to Tallahassee. We hit one of them dead zones.
Probably. Headed to Wall Color.
But yeah,
Let's jump on this. Let's jump
No,
on the
go ahead.
softball right quick.
all right, yeah. No, he's coming right back. We'll hold. He's coming right back in.
that area. Sorry about that.
You must be coming back from McCullough or something, man.
Well, I was out at Child, so you know it was out that way.
I
It's
got you.
coming from your Child. Yeah, but we did the east and west side of Bragg Stadium, doing the grandstand, getting rid of them steel metal pans, going with the aluminum system. Brought in the new press box on the west side. Thanks to Blueprint. Blueprint was able to give us the $10 million without funding for FAMU to get the stadium up to par to where it is now, with those grandstands. Now we're moving into getting a new video board, which is going to be a bigger and a nicer video board, roughly like 55 by 75 feet wide video boards. Going to sit anywhere from 60 to 80 feet off the ground. That is in the process right now. Will be completed before this fall home game. Also, a new sound system going into that video board, so we don't have to rent a sound system anymore. And we also redoing the parking lot. As you know, our parking lot was under bad condition for several years, especially during the COVID when we had the testing site moved there, a lot of traffic coming through. So we able to redo, I mean, dig up the parking lot and go back and put a nice new parking lot down with nice parking spaces that's to code and everything, and just give Bragg Stadium a fresh new look and an environment that everybody can appreciate and enjoy when they come to the game and get the game day experience.
All right. Before I turn this over to Marcus, Dwayne Sweet says, bathrooms, please. And that's been a sore subject of the fan experience, the bathrooms and the concession stands at Bragg Stadium. Anything on when those projects may possibly get underway? Because I know that there's nothing, to my knowledge, on the books right now to handle those two issues.
Well, the university is working hard to try to come up with the funding to get that done. That's the number one priority after we getting this done, to go ahead and address those restrooms and those concession stands. In the meantime, what the university is looking at doing for the fall to bring in those nice big mobile unit restrooms, ADA accessibility, so they could put some on each side. We ain't talking about the porta potty. We talking about those big mobile units that you bring in that's nicer. So in the meantime, we understand the concern with the restrooms. We all feel the same way, but we working diligently to try to get that funding to be able to address. Because our stadium is old, so a lot of what grandfathered in. So we're gonna have to go ahead and build, not only renovate those existing restrooms, but build some new ones too. But we're working on that. So hopefully, our goal is to come up very soon, maybe next year, to be able to have that funding. But we're currently working on ideas right now to try to get that funding and get that taken care of. So trust me, just tell them the whole it's in the hopper. So we understand that. So we're trying to make sure we address it.
All right, go ahead, Marcus.
Mr. Talton, thanks for coming on the show. It looks like you have quite a few projects that involve some hot button discussions around from FAMU alumni, and Drew just mentioned the bathrooms, but I wanted to ask you about the P3 process. That's been talked about for a while as it relates to athletic facilities and the viability of using that. But also, based on the information, it looks like you have the housing and demolition projects. And I know on some social media platforms, there's been a lot of chit chat about why certain buildings or certain dorms can't be saved and others can't. And I don't know to what degree you can go into detail about why some can't and some can and some can't. So it's kind of a twofold question: one about P3 and one about the preservation or lack thereof of some of the campus facilities.
Well, and good question, but I know a lot of people is tied to a lot of these buildings. Some of them that can be saved, we will try to save, but most of them is just not conducive to be saved, not economically or code wise. As you know, these buildings are old. Some of them were built in the 1930s, some of them were built in 1960. They don't meet today's code. So even if you was to gut them and try to go back and put, the second floor might be in the middle of the second floor window, because the floor to ceiling height don't meet today's code. So, you might have a 7'6" from the finished floor to the next floor. You won't even have enough room to put a ceiling in, AC units that meet today's code. So sometimes it's not conducive where you can be able to go up there and try to preserve it. And then it costs a lot of money. Historic preservation is a very expensive process. So if we had the money or was able to get the money, we'll be able to go ahead and do that. I know a lot of people say grants. Grants don't give that much money to where we could get grant to go ahead and do the whole thing, but we get enough grant where it could go ahead and address some of the issues. So what we try to save what we could save, not just in the business to just going out there knocking down buildings. That's not what we do. If we look at it, we analyze it, we see what's the best approach moving forward, whether we could do it. And then sometimes we had to look at it. We do assessments and say, hey, how much it would cost if we were renovated versus how much it would cost if we go ahead and demo and build new. Most of the time, building new is much cheaper than it is to go ahead and try to put all that money in and rehab it. So sometimes we had to make a business decision. And plus, you got to think about sometimes kids these days, they want to have the same amenities they have at home. So, they want the state of the art facilities. So in order for us to be relevant and stay up there in the top 100s of universities and compete with the other universities, we got to provide those amenities that those students look for. So those things that all play a part when we go through our master plan and we go through our dissecting the best way to move forward with these buildings. That's how we do it. Sampson and Young, as you know, Sampson and Young was closed for years, but closely, probably almost 10 years before we got enough money to rehab that one back in 2010. So that was a building that we was able to save. We had the money, we were able to get the money. The code issues wasn't as stringent as it was like in the Penaplex and Truth Hall and stuff. So, we was able to rehab that building. So that shows that we do care about it. And currently, right now, we're doing a master plan of the historic district to see what it would take to keep these historic buildings, um, revive them and maintain them and defer maintenance and everything like that. So we're investing in that right now. We got a grant to do that, and that's like $155,000 grant to do that study. So we do care about the historic preservation of the campus, and we are working to make sure we preserve as many buildings as we can.
All right, thank you.
And it was another part of the question. I don't remember. I know I got stuck
Just
in that.
about P3, the viability of a P3 for either athletic facilities or a mixed use facility. I know it's been floated around and, different folks have talked about it. And, I don't want to put you on the spot about the question, but in terms of your career experience with the P3, is that something that we could get involved in and go forward in terms of improving a lot of different facilities and perhaps even having some revenue generation if it's mixed use?
And before
Well, it's
you
not
answer
off
that,
the table.
Craig, before you answer that, also explain to everyone what a P3 is before
Yes.
you answer Marcus's question, because a lot of people may not even understand what a P3 is.
Okay, a P3 is a public-private partnership. That means we partner up with a private entity that will be able to bring funding to be able to go ahead and build the type of facilities, renovate the type of facilities we're looking for, and then we negotiate with them on it's like a land lease. So we'll negotiate on how much we'll get for that land lease every year, and they'll negotiate on what parts of the revenue they want to get from this whole project, so they could be able to get a profit out of it as well. So it's a win-win on both sides. Um, it's not off the table. I'm saying not totally off the table, so that is something that we still kicking around. Right now, we just got to make sure that when it do happen, it makes sense. Make sure the numbers work out, because that's a lot of things. 'Cause a lot of people just want to come in and do it, but they want everything. The university end up not getting much out of it. But then you got to think about it. Thank God that think about the people that did do a P3, and then we went into this pandemic, especially in housing. So, when you had this pandemic and nobody staying in dorms, but you still would have had to pay back that P3 or generate some revenue. So those things that wasn't thought about when you enter into P3, but we was able to look at it, see it firsthand, and now that's something that we can add in the negotiation part in case if something like that would ever happen again. So how will we continue to make those payments? So, but the P3 is not off the table. It is something that in the long run we still looking at doing, but it got to be the right situation. You got to have the right partnership come and partner up with us, and the numbers got to make sense. You got to have some events and bring in some things that be able to generate revenue. As you know, the university only have like 4 or 5 home games in football. That won't be able to sustain paying for a P3. You got to bring in other events in that state. It might be concert, might be soccer events, some people might do monster trucks and different things like that. So those are all the things that we got to look at to generate revenue year round to make it make sense and bring in the right event that we can bring in the right amount of revenue and the right amount of crowd to be able to pay for that P3. So, but it's still on the table. It's not off.
All right,
Thank
Craig.
you.
Hmm.
Craig, my question is: everybody, football is a revenue generator. We know football is king when it comes to collegiate athletics, but a lot of people are also upset about our baseball facility. Is there anything on the table for the improvement of our baseball facility? Because I know at one point in time when AD Gaucher was there was talks of turfing the playing surface and a few other things that were supposed to be done with the bathrooms, et cetera, et cetera. Where are we at on our baseball facility?
Hey,
We currently have. Go ahead.
Craig. Before you answer that, start off by talking about athletic funding, budget, and construction programming, so that folks understand how athletic facilities in the state of Florida for a state university are funded.
Yeah, well, first of all, athletics is auxiliary. There's a revenue generating unit. So they don't really get the state funding like we do for educational buildings from the state. So they have to generate their own revenue based on these football games, basketball games, softball, baseball, etc. So they have to generate their own revenue. So that's why it's difficult for them to be able to enhance their facilities on a yearly basis unless you have big donors and big sponsorships and stuff like that. The university work hand in hand to assist athletics with trying to accomplish a lot of their facility goals. For baseball, we currently talking about doing turf, as well as just had a conversation with someone in athletics looking at reaching out to a company about redoing the grandstands for the baseball stadium. So that is on the list too. Like I say, it's a lot of things that is being talked about and trying to work and figure out on the back end that's not in the public eye. So don't think that it's just out there and it's forgot about. You got to be strategic on how we move forward with athletics and how we come up with those funding to be able to address those needs. So we working as a team along with construction, along with athletics, along with administration to try to figure out, and out as well with the students, trying to figure out the best, the money to be able to fund these projects. So it's on the hopper. We've been having a conversation about it over the last month or so about that turf field. So getting quotes on that as we speak and talking about the grandstands and everything at the baseball field.
All right. Before I turn it back over to Kelvin, and you may not be able to answer this or you may not want to answer this question, but if you had the magic wand and you could, fix everything as far as athletic facilities to the standard that you want it to be at, what dollar amount are we looking at to get everything up to the standard that you think that it should be at? If you can answer that question.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a hard question to answer, especially in this day and time with construction just coming out of pandemic. Long lead item right now, even to get electrical transformer or switch, we talking about a year out. And prices are steady going up. We're hoping they come down. So it's hard to put a dollar amount to that question right now. During to the state of construction, it's hard for me to sit here and put a so that'll be my response for that.
We lost you there for about 20 seconds. Can you go over the last part of your answer again?
Yeah, I say with the state of construction and the cost of material, especially coming out of pandemic, it's hard to put a cost to everything. We'll have to sit down and look at everything that we need to do and look at the market costs and look at the cost of materials around the country, the long lead items, materials it take to get, and then be able to give you a definitive answer. Right now, I won't feel comfortable just throwing the answer out there.
So what you're saying is, even if you had a number today, by the time you got everything in and was able to do it, that number would not be accurate. By the time
and it happens every time. It happened with the stadium when we were doing the grandstand. We went out to one amount. By the time we got that money and everything had totally changed in the construction. So, and then my magic one is to making sure that we could get done what we need done with the money that we got. So you are correct with that.
All right. Kelvin.
All right. I think everybody want to, I'm going to try to let you get out here and enjoy some of your birthday, Craig. But I think people want to know what's the timeline for the scoreboards. I know there's supposed to be the stadium project, and I think Lawson is included too.
Yeah,
And
Lawson and Gates of Gem is excluded. Yes.
okay, so what's the timeline for those projects? And then just talk briefly about any pending upcoming demo projects.
Well, the deadline, we definitely gonna have the video board in the parking lot at Bragg Stadium done before the first home game, as well as our Lawson Center and Gates of Gem video board. All that will be done by.
Did we lose him?
He's frozen. His picture is still on the screen. Not quite sure. I want to give him a minute to try to click back in.
Can we fill in our own date or when it will be done?
Tomorrow.
Well, I think what he was saying was that a week before the first game, in terms of the Bragg Stadium stuff, I'm not sure about the Lawson and Gaither Gym scoreboard projects, but all of that we can anticipate, I'm sure, in the fall.
Yeah, and I guess
into the fall,
depending on the lead time, I mean, you have a little bit of leeway with Gaither, because I guess we're still using that for practice for some sports, but not necessarily for NCAA competition. I guess Lawson would be, make sure it's ready for basketball, but also for volleyball.
Yeah.
So that might push it a little, Lawson a step ahead of Gaither. If we were to look at a timeline in terms of the seasons, not take into account the availability or the lead time for the scoreboards to be done.
Yeah.
And of course, with that parking lot project, you've always got that one thing that you cannot plan for, even though they plan for it in the construction, is if we happen to have a rainy season this summer, that could possibly delay the parking lot.
Or God forbid, but we are in Florida, a hurricane.
That's definitely part of the rainy season.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, fellas. I think we have put that to bed for right now. We want to thank Craig for coming and spending some time on Cake Day, on his born day with us. That's a good brother, because I like y'all. I don't know if I love y'all enough to what I'm talking about. I did a sports rap on my birthday this year, so I'm gonna leave it alone. And doggone Brian was calling the championship baseball game on his birthday, so we gonna leave it what it is. We know we do what we got to do on our birthday. Speaking of Brian,
not only that, we Rattlers, man. And the true Rattlers, diehard Rattlers, man. We FAMU. So we're gonna ride out with our peeps. So I want to thank Craig, because he did do it. He told me, but he did it as a favor, and I appreciate him. And I'll reward him. Catch up with him later.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Craig. We appreciate you, my brother. And speaking of Brian, I think he is going to pop in when we come back from the other side of this break. Hey, you are watching O&G StrikeZone. That's Kelvin. That's Marcus. I'm not Brian, but he's going to be here in a second. This is AD stepping in for Brian, but I'm supposed to get out the big chair and go ahead and get over into my regular chair, and let Brian have his big chair back. So all I got to do is push button. Hey, we'll be back on the O&G StrikeZone in just a moment.
Time to call a credit repair company to fix my credit. Hold the phone, man. You can do it yourself with Credit Versio. That's way too hard. Call the credit repair company. Most credit repair companies only work on 1 or 2 accounts at a time, making it slow and expensive. You won't figure that out for months. Ignore him. Credit Versio's brilliant software scans all 3 credit bureaus, finds the accounts that are hurting your score, and guides you through the entire process. Anyone can do it. Let's fast forward and see the results. Wow, I fixed my own credit and saved hundreds. You can do this. Visit creditversio.com.
T. Madden & Associates is a sophisticated and experienced law firm located in your neighborhood. We're turning injury to cash.
T. Madden and Associates obtained almost $2 million for my injury. They turned my injury to cash.
Now, we can't guarantee how much your injury is worth, but we've recovered millions for our clients. Call T. Madden and Associates at 833-PAID-123. That's 833-PAID-123.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. And look at here. Boy, look at here.
And he's got on a right color shirt.
Joining us.
See, Marcus, stop it. Stop it.
Bro, we've been having fun. I know you was watching on your way home, man. So
I was trying.
At least listening. You was listening. You wasn't watching.
I was trying to, honestly. I was on some different phone calls coming in. So yeah, I was trying to listen. You know.
Well, we appreciate you, Brian. Did you hit the thumbs up button while you were listening to us?
Hold on, while I still have it up. Yeah, let me go ahead.
How do you expect anybody else to hit the thumbs up button?
Boom, I just hit it.
Hit the thumbs up button.
I just hit it. The rest of y'all in the chat room, y'all messing around, man. Y'all go ahead and hit the thumb. We got all these people watching. I don't understand. Look, this is. I'm gonna rant for a second because I don't understand how all these people watching, right? All these people watching. I hear this on other shows, and it don't take but a second to hit the thumbs up button.
It's right down there.
It's right next. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
Right there.
You know,
right
it's like Bomani Jones says. If you don't hit the thumbs up button, I am likely to assume you are a hater or for something. I don't know, you know. But yeah, it's right there. But I get it. I try to. When I watch people's shows, I try to hit the thumbs up because I understand it's hard. It's hard. We're trying to keep the algorithms going. So good to be on with you, fellas.
Well, I'm going to say it once again. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, stay out my chat. So,
right. Everybody in the chat, everybody who's in the chat should be hitting the thumbs up button, no matter if you're on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are. The only people who shouldn't is if you're watching this on Twitter. That's it, you know. But, you know, I'm just saying, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying. It'd be nice if you subscribe too, but I'm just asking for a little bit, just a thumbs up. Just a thumbs up right now, fellas. Brian, we didn't get a chance to get into our roundup because we had some technical difficulties getting on the air today. You know, and right at the end of the doggone intro,
Thanos. Hey, Thanos, he got us, man. He snapped.
Technology got me, and then when trying to get everything back up, I ain't gonna tell you. Somebody on this panel forgot to hit the actual start live button so that we could actually start the broadcast. But I ain't gonna tell you who that was.
Marcus, what are you doing, Marcus? Come on now, Marcus. God bless it. So I trained you better, Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the anyway.
Yeah.
Kelvin, is the grill hot yet?
Is what?
Is the grill
Go
hot
ahead. It's hot. It's red, man. Go ahead.
Because we got two in barbecue, man. Two barbecue for our Lady Rattlers, man. Softball. They went to the SWAC tournament. They lost 3-1 yesterday to Grambling. They lost to who did they lose to today? They lost to
Alcorn.
Alcorn State.
Alcorn, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
they lost to Alcorn State by a score.
I don't know why I put Prairie View in there.
5.
Alcorn.
Yes. And fellas, just comments, man. Comments. Who wants to lead this one off? I got a chance to watch a little bit of it. The game watched me more while I was at work than I watched it, but it was up on the screen while I was at work today. Who wants to start us off on
that? Kelvin, did you get a chance to watch all of it? How much of it did you get a chance?
No, very, very little of it. I was keeping up with updates and so forth, but I didn't actually get a chance to watch it.
All right. I Marcus, how about you?
Same. I was keeping up to date via Twitter. And
I don't want to tell myself then, because then it might look like, just in case my people are watching, they'd be like, what were you doing all day at work?
No. Not what was you doing. What were your students doing while you were doing what you was doing?
Hey, I was micromanaging. It just, I put it like this. The game, here's how I'm going to get it out of it. The game started during my lunch break. That's real talk. It started during lunch. So I had plenty of time to tune in during lunch. And then the class after lunch is very small. So it kind of just worked out. So I'm going to put myself in the clear that I had a chance to watch during lunch and afterwards. But
for your planning period in there, Brian.
Right. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. No, I think the toughest, it's hard to say which loss hurt more, because the Grambling game was just one of those games that I thought it was a great pitcher's duel.
Mm-hmm. It was.
I mean, props to Charles Edmond, who called a great game on the broadcast. And just watching the number of flyouts by both teams, I don't think anybody really got into a groove until very late in the ball game. And I came away thinking, I don't know enough, about softball. I'll be honest. I do know. So we're short a few players. We knew that going in, right? We knew we only had 18 rostered players, which we're supposed to have up to at least 25, right?
Yeah.
Minimum 21. Yeah.
Minimum 21.
Your number should be like 22 to 25.
And from what I've seen, Coach P really has about 10 that she goes with on a consistent basis. Okay. That's not including the 2 pitchers. Well, originally, remember, she thought she had 3 pitchers to start the year. And then for some reason, we ended up, 1 pitcher got hurt. Another pitcher left the team for undisclosed reasons, and we were down to 2. Either one of them were the expected ace at the beginning of the year or the preseason all-conference pitcher, right? So talk about having to overcome hurdles. That's why I thought this team lost 9 games by 3 runs or less. And over the course of the season now, 3 runs or less. And I think of those 3 runs or less, I think half of those were 2 or less. So I say all that. Yeah, Corinthian, thank you. And 1 catcher. My God, Nia Morgan caught probably every pitch this year. God bless her, she still has needs. I mean, her knees need to be iced and somebody, constantly massaging and rubbing, because it's got to be hard with just 1 catcher, right? And yeah, even though Coach P is a first-year coach, I think she knows what she's doing. But we were just limited in just our depth. And I guess it showed. It's hard for me to really be honest with you. The Alcorn game is when it really showed to me. Because we're up 5-4, in that game, a game which at one point we were down 4-1, took a 5-4 lead, and then we kind of couple of errors, led to 3 runs. We just kind of. I hate to say this, we just kind of vomited on ourselves late. I mean, it's just.
Well, Brian, that's what happens when you got attrition, when you don't have those numbers and so forth, and you start logging all those miles and all these. What you're saying is we were in a lot of competitive games, and we were competitive in those games. So we playing these games out, and we don't have fresh bodies to rotate in and out of. And then we had unfortunate thing that happened in that games got canceled because of weather. So now we having to do 1-day double headers and play games at neutral sites in the middle of the week, and we had to do a play-in game just to get to the SWAC tournament because we had a makeup game. So now those players who already have played an entire season, they squeezing like 12 games into like 2.5 weeks. So that's just tough. So you're gonna when you're tired, when you're hurt, and you're trying to push through, mental errors as well as not being able to maintain peak performance. That's what happens.
I'll buy in to that 100%. If you're telling me that all of that factored into our play, because I look at our top 9, like I didn't see Alcorn and Grambling making a lot of substitutions, right? I think our our 9 is good, and just like Corinthian said, we shoot, Grambling was not that much better than us. Alcorn was not that much better than us. I have not watched Prairie View, who's supposed to be the top softball team. Bethune-Cookman, I hate to say it, they look better than us in the games that we played. We played them 6 times. But everybody else, though, I mean, there may have been 1 or 2. So we're talking 1 or 2 teams. The other 6, we could have beat. We could easily still be playing in this. I just,
we're not realistic. Here's what I'm saying. All right, so you give a coach the job, weeks before the season start. You lose some players because of that. You got 18 players. You going?
She's not brand new to the program.
It don't matter. You come into a situation with limited players, limited resources, right? And your first time doing something. I mean, the reality of it is this has been a successful season.
Oh, no doubt. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. We could have beat some teams. I think we beat everybody we played at least once inside, and we actually won some out of conference games when we were fresh, when we had more players and so forth. We did win. We won out of conference games. We just ran into that proverbial wall because of all these other things. And I don't care what we think and want and wish to happen until you have that infrastructure in place where you have assistant coaches. You have your coach has a whole season with their team. When you have your roster numbers where they're supposed to be, when you have the food and nutrition where it needs to be, then you can sustain that performance for the whole season. But without those things, this is what you get. We looking in the mirror. This is who we are right now.
But Brian, you talking about that top 9 and everybody just going with their 9. What that lack of depth hurt was at the end of the season when FAMU softball went 3-12 over the last 3.5 weeks.
Oh, is that the number? Wow, 3-12. Wow.
Excuse me, 3-9. 3-9 over the last 12. I'm sorry. Okay. It was 3-9 over the last 12, including talk about those double headers, 1 and 3 in the 2 double headers that we played over the last month of the season, 3 weeks of the season. That's where that attrition hurts you. You can't ask a catcher to catch 14 innings on a doubleheader.
Brutal.
You know, it's nice when you out there roasting in center field to have somebody split those innings with you. When you're out there roasting in center field, when you're playing a 12-2 doubleheader, and it's 85 degrees. So that's where that comes up, where that comes in at. Where that lack of depth also hurts at is when you have your third baseman or your first baseman or your catcher who is not the fleetest of foot, but you're in a situation where those 3-run games or those 2-run games that you're talking about, where we need that speed on first base or second base so we can bunt them over to get into scoring position, but we have nobody to pinch run for that position so that we can bunt that person over to keep us in the game and get it so that we can put that pressure on that defense and get that run over to third base where a sacrifice fly or a wild pitch gets us that run that we need. That's where that lack of depth comes in. We're not even going to talk about the arms, right?
Yeah, no, don't even go there. Don't even go there. Yeah,
that's a whole other part. That's an easy target right there. You know,
right.
We're gonna really talk about getting into the strategy of the game, or when you need to make that late defensive substitution. Yeah, we know this person has a good bat, but I really need to put in a different second baseman or a different third baseman because the team that we playing is a slap hitting team, which totally changes my defense. So I need somebody who's a little bit better at playing that slap versus playing traditional. You can't make those moves when you've only got 15 active bodies and 2 of those are pitchers and 1 of those are catchers. And Lord forbid if your catcher ever takes a foul ball.
It's like a high school team. I just got finished watching a high school softball team. That's about what we got on our high school softball team. And so I'm curious, did anybody in last night's meeting or online thing with VP Sykes, did anybody ask about budgeting for softball? Did that ever come up, or did anybody? Did it come up? No, it didn't come up.
I did not get a chance to catch it.
Speaking of softball, did we ever get our assistant coach situation straight?
Don't know.
There's coaches out there with her. I mean, she's got.
Let me re-ask that question, Brian.
What do you mean?
Did we ever get our paid assistant coach situation straight?
Oh hell, I don't know. That's above my. I don't know. Good question. Did anybody ask that last night either? What did y'all ask? I'm just asking. Fat Rattler Nation, what did y'all ask last night? Y'all had a forum with the AD. What did y'all ask? What did people ask, Kelvin, Marcus?
Football. They asked about football, Brian. You know what they asked about. They asked about Bragg State.
That's what the 220 Club is for. They ask about football all day. What else did y'all ask about? I'm just curious. What did we ask about? You had
Football.
the lady for 30 minutes. What did we ask?
Basketball, maybe.
Oh, hell.
I have no idea. I hadn't watched it yet.
We signed a big man. I don't know. We signed a big man. I told y'all we were going to get him, but anyway. I'm just asking, man. I mean, we get these opportunities in these forums. Demetrius says all the questions were about football. Jesus, man.
Got dog. I told you, Brian.
Buy those packages, huh? APR. Did APR really change? The APR didn't change from a year. Okay, Kelvin, help me out with the APR thing, because the APR it looked like it was the same as last year. Did anything change from the year ago with the APR numbers?
I think what they released was the 4-year average. I
think it was 898.
But yes, we haven't been above 900 for the last 4 years now, and that's a concern. There's a lot of reasons for it, and I know the spin is that we're investing in internal resources and also training those internal resources. I know that NCAA was on campus training our compliance folks. We open up the books and so forth. But really, we're talking one sport. So I just need that one sport to just accept that that's what it is and to do better.
Right.
But isn't it hard with that sport? Isn't it hard with that sport when you have so many coming in? And I mean, it's got to be hard, challenging.
Well, but that's a recruiting philosophy you're making, right? So you don't have to, and it's no different from the other HBCUs. But if you notice, the conference we left, the MEAC, is doing distinctive. They're doing distinctively better than the SWAC when it comes to APR. Now I don't know.
Everybody in the BAC had a 930 or above.
Yeah.
What was
everybody in the SWAC did not have a 930 or above.
898.
898.
Mm-hmm.
That's an improvement from 890. It was 890 last year, right?
And the question, and I haven't seen the numbers because you can go back and if you actually pull the report, you can see the 4-year average. When does that one number that's bringing our score down, because it is a 4-year average, when does that fall off? And then where does that leave us? Because to my knowledge, even when that one bad year falls off, I still don't think we're going to hit that 930 benchmark. For the number, if I recall the numbers from last year, none of the numbers in the 4-year average were above the 930. It would be different if we had some 960s and some 970s, and we just had that one bad 820 or whatever it is that's bringing us down. We know that when that number rolls off, we will be all right. But we're not at that position. We're at an 898 for a reason. That's because all those numbers are right around that same number. We don't have one high, one low. Excuse me. That's making that number. No, we have all low.
Mm-hmm.
So we at the end of the day, we need a good year this year. We need a 930 minimum so that we can show progress in a 930 going into next year. Because 2024 is when the sanctions kick back in at the end of the 2024 season. So we can show that we're hitting the numbers over the next year or two. Then we can do the appeal process for that particular sport, and probably have a successful appeal. Also inviting the NCAA in and training our staff gives them more confidence. But we have to see the production now. I mean, at the end of the day, we got a 4-year history now, and we've not even been in the ballpark all 4 years. So we got to do better. Period.
And here's the problem, Kevin. And here's the problem for the fans. Do you want your team to have a 980 and 3 wins? Or are you happy with a 9 or 898 in the Celebration Bowl?
Well, that's a false narrative. That's a false narrative.
You can have both.
You can do both. There's ways you can do both. I mean, there's some programs who are doing 930 and it's still successful. So we've got to do better. We got to win on and off the field. Period.
Let me ask this question.
All said and done, Coach Willie Simmons, whether he gets a 970 or not, is only going to be judged by the result on Saturday.
That's not true. Okay. When them sanctions kick in, you can't go nowhere, and they start taking scholarships and money and finding a school. You'll find out that's not true. Not meeting APR is a serious deal, serious business. Basketball, I went through that, practice time and so forth. So I mean, we have to get it right, man. We have no choice. Unless we're gonna leave the NCAA.
And it's interesting that you said that, and then I'm gonna leave it at that. But if you listen to Carlos Brown's show on this past Saturday, and he had Coach Van Pettaway on there, and he mentioned something very interesting about those reduced practice times, Kelvin. And probably won't work in football, but in basketball, He says about 3 or 4 teams during his coaching stint who got put on academic probation with reduced practice time actually won SWAC basketball championships because those teams had fresher legs at the end of the season, and because they weren't in the gym and coaches had to be more efficient with their time in the gym, that actually allowed them the more time for study like it's designed to do. And those teams won championships and were more competitive those years. He mentioned Texas Southern. He mentioned Southern. He mentioned a few of the schools that have been on probation in the SWAC and basketball specifically.
It wasn't because of that though. SWAC basketball is parity in the league. Is not quality of play. It ain't super duper coaching. It is what it is. I call it. I say it. It ain't hard to win a daggone SWAC championship. All you need is one superstar.
True. That's true. I got a question. So let me ask this. Will the 11 guys who graduated this past spring, will those help and improve the numbers? Because I love stats, but this whole APR stat is worse than trying to figure out what xFIP and on base percentage and slugging percentage is in baseball. It's the worst statistic I'm trying to figure out because traditionally we talk about grades in terms of GPAs, right? And now all of a sudden we got to worry about APRs. And so I'm just trying to still wrap my head around it and continually read these articles. So what can you tell me or anyone else who's curious? Will the recent graduations, the graduates, because we had 11 of them, will those help the scores?
Were those graduates or people who ran out of eligibility?
Oh shit, that's two different things.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it is. It is. You can run out of eligibility before you graduate, Brian. That's why I asked that question.
Well, no. What really matters with APR is if they're getting athletic aid and they graduate, even after they use up their eligibility. If they go back, there's a process where you can get some points back when the guys who used up their eligibility come back and get and get their degree. So yes, anytime someone is graduating who's been on any kind of athletic aid, it's a plus. It's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It matters. It counts.
And Brian, I have a slide up. I just shared it with you. I could try to present, but it was.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Yeah. I don't know where'd you put it at? Well, we'll take a look. Yeah, we'll take a look at it offline here, I guess, and then try to maybe we can add it in coming out of the break. What else? Okay, so yeah, we can add it in as we come back out of the next break. What else we got, AD?
Heck, you wrote the script. I thought you knew it. I'm relaxing since you was back over here.
Don't look.
Oh man, you gonna make me stay in this big chair. I got you. I
am gonna make you. Mark, let's see. Marcus.
Let's see. We've done tennis.
Hold on. Wow, Marcus got the thing here. Let's see what Marcus has got here. All right, this is the good old APR progress rate explained. This is where I feel like I need to get. Hold on, I got my notepad here. I got my notepads. You got my notepad.
Brian, this is easy for me to explain the BCSN algorithm on how we come up with the.
Thank you, Drew. You can. Exactly. Oh man, Jiminy Chris.
Don't make it more complicated than it is. All y'all guys, really, the bottom line is that whoever's getting athletic aid, are they matriculating toward graduation? Do they graduate? And those athletes who either quit or transfer, you need to track where those kids are transferring to because you don't lose all the points if they transfer to another NCAA eligible program, including Division II, and they get a degree from there. So we have to track the kids who lead the program also.
Well, okay, but answer the question. Hold on. Let's break this down. Athletic aid. Define athletic aid.
That's scholarship, but it can be depending because a lot. Well, think about it this way: a lot of sports split scholarships, right? Almost all the non-revenue generating sports split scholarships. So that don't mean full scholarship. That mean athletic aid, period, right? So some folks, depending on the amount of the book stipends and other things, it can include them too.
Okay, so we got if that consists of, let's just say, let's say our starting offense, 9 of those guys probably are on some sort of athletic aid, either partial or full scholarship, right? Guesstimation, maybe even all 11. That's what we're talking about, right?
Let's use 10 to make it easy math.
Use what?
Use the number 10 to make it easy math.
How does that make it easy? I'm just asking the question about athlete. See, I said that. I asked that because I'm trying to make sure we understand the clear definition. So anybody who's a walk-on, preferred walk-on,
no, not counted.
Not counted.
Okay. They're not on athletic aid.
Does anyone know what the numbers are at Florida A&M? Do we use all 60? What is it at LR level? 64? Do we use all 64? 63. I'm assuming we use all 63.
Yes. All 63 are available and funded. Now, whether or not the coaches hold some, split some, that's how the coach manages is up to them. But yes, we do have the full allotment of scholarships available for that sport.
We had 100, almost 90 some odd kids at spring football, correct? We all agree on that?
Yeah, but not all of them was on athletic scholarship though.
Obviously, right. That's where I was going next. That at least about 30 of them were not, given the fact that we only have 63 available.
They may have been on scholarship, but they may not have been on
full scholarship.
Right.
Because football, FCS football can do, I've forgotten the two terms, equivalent and
they do
head count. So head count is like 1-to-1. So that's what FBS uses for football. If we use that sport, but equivalent, FCS football, you could split scholarships, and equivalent is also applied for a lot of the non-revenue sports where you could split. Say if the cost of a full scholarship is, I'm just make up a number, $20,000 per. If it was for a head count. But for FAMU, for FCS teams, that $20,000 in football and other sports can be split amongst different players. At varying amounts.
So
Brian,
let me ask go ahead, Drew.
I was going to say, also keep in mind when you're talking about this, if you have a kid who's getting, say, academic money, say we'll use that same $20,000 that Marcus is talking about. If he's getting $15,000 in academic money, then football only has to cover $5,000 for the youngster.
But he still counts, though.
But he still counts.
Yes.
But that's $15,000 that can go towards someone else.
Well, but we don't care about that. We don't care about the money. All we care about is who's getting something. I don't care if it's 5,000, 50,000, or 15. He's getting something, which puts him in this pool, correct?
Yeah, and the pool breaks down like this.
99% correct. There is a smaller percent, probably a 1% that they get so little, like just a book stipend, that I believe that don't necessarily, those who get, I think you have to get a percentage or something, and I think it has to be in the double digits. So someone who just get like a book stipend and on a scholarship that's worth $15,000 and they only get $500 book stipend or $1,500 book stipend, I don't think that they may count. But anything over whatever that cutoff is, yes, all of them count, whether they full scholarship or partial.
And Brian, here's a simple breakdown. If you're eligible that semester, you get a point. If they transfer to another school and are eligible when they leave your school, you still get a point. And when they graduate, you get a point. If they become ineligible, you lose a point. And if they become ineligible at another institution, you lose a point. That's about as simple as I can break it down. Now, those point values vary based upon which category they fall into, but that's the basic gist of it. You got three ways you can gain points. You got two ways that you can lose points.
I feel like, Marcus, you know how people put together like NIL calculators and the stuff you do with the spreadsheets? I feel like somebody is missing out on a market by creating an APR tracker, because I really, I feel like we can have an NIL valuations on kids. We can track where they're going to school, who's gotten offers and all this other stuff. But man, I tell you, if somebody had an APR tracker for programs, they'd be hitting on something. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know who could do that. I don't know how. That might be information I don't know how you get, because it requires you to know which players are getting aid.
You run into FERPA type stuff.
Yeah.
Do you really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something else, Brian, that's affected these APR scores. When a kid leaves your institution via the portal and remains in the portal and does not go to another institution, that is one of those red marks on your thing. And there's about 4,000 kids out there who, if they were originally on somebody's scholarship, they impacted somebody's APR because nobody wants them to play anymore. They can't find another school to play at. And I do believe you have to transfer to another 4-year school. You can't start at FAMU and go to a TCC. You lose a point with that if you go to a 2-year school.
You lose.
You lose another 4-year school.
Correct. You lose a point, but you don't lose both points. And if they come back, and if they do come back from a Division II school, and or they graduate from Division II school, or they come back to a Division I school and graduate, you still can get that point back. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but that gets into that tracking that Marcus was talking about. You have to follow these kids all the way through. And think about these kids who done used that transfer portal 2 and 3 times. Who the hell can keep up with that?
Yeah.
Jiminy Christmas. Marcus, anything on these other slides that you?
Actually, and I was trying to add about scholarships, but we do have some offers.
Okay. All right. You want to move into the offers section?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
Here's Shannon Grant, big boy, 6'10", 280, according to his Mercer bio. He just signed, I believe it was yesterday, and he visited a couple weeks ago. So he's transferred from Mercer. He was voted Alabama Sports Writers Association, Class A, 5A, All-State Boys, the second team as a high school senior at, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Sylacauga.
Yeah, Sylacauga.
So his team made it to the regional finals his senior year. So he signed on. It seemed like he got a lot of playing time and had very good statistics. I think he averaged about 5 points with limited playing time at Mercer. So he's been there 3 years. So I don't know. I'm assuming that he has a COVID year. So I don't know if he has 2 years or 1 year left.
He should have 2 years of eligibility.
Yes, and with the COVID year, he should.
And by my calculations of what I've seen in the league, other than a couple of guys from Alabama A&M, he's probably one of the biggest dudes in the SWAC coming in this year. I'm talking, size, height and weight. Now, I don't know if 280 is accurate.
I don't know.
You probably don't want him to be at 280, but he's coming from Mercer to FAM. He may drop down to about 260. See if anybody caught that. Okay, I'm just we caught. I'm gonna be quiet. I didn't know who caught that.
I wasn't going to reward you with a response on that one.
Okay. I'm sorry. That was me.
Hey, but in terms of this signing, all I'm gonna say is this: we've signed big guys the last 2 years, and I've never seen them touch the floor.
We signed a big guy last year. Who did we sign last year?
Last 2 years, we done signed big guys, and they never touched the floor. So I'll wait.
That's conditioning. Maybe he's not. Maybe he can't run a mile. Maybe he can't run a mile in 6 minutes. I don't know.
He can't run a mile on that Florida Heat.
Let me stop.
Yeah, the next one up, we saw this. I guess he just signed today, but he visited. I think it was a release. There was something on social media about Love Bettis committing a couple days ago. He's came out of Tate High School in Pensacola, class of 2020. So he's one of the MJ's homeboys. Then he went to Coffeyville, won a National Junior College Championship there. Then he went to A&T. Once again, didn't seem like he got a lot of playing time. He did have a couple highlights, I think a couple high scoring games, but overall may not have had a robust statistics. But backfilling a guard position, we know we lost two guards to the transfer portal.
What was he? What was his? Well, yeah, I don't know what these guys. It'd be nice to find out what these guys shoot from the field, But then again, they didn't get a lot of playing time, so who knows? Anyway.
On the track, kind of a mix here. For track, Nia Blocker or Bainbridge, who actually was at Rickards for a while. Couldn't find out when she actually transferred to Bainbridge or the reasons for it. But she was at 2021, she was the TDO All Big Bend Track Athlete of the Year as a sophomore. So she signed on with FAMU. Didn't see which events, but I think she runs the 100, 200, a couple other events. Just saw this today, even though he committed a couple weeks ago in mid-April, but we actually offered him a little bit before that. This is Kwame Smith from Chaminade Madonna, and he actually was part of the last year's Class 1A 4x400 state championship team for Chaminade Madonna. I did not track down the results for this year. I don't know if we've already gone through the track championships or if we're still in the throes of it right now. But he's committed to FAMU. And I think these last couple are commitments, and this was a couple weeks ago. Caitlin Smith was at hurdles out of Durham, North Carolina, Hillside High School. She committed to FAMU as well. And I think the last one we saw yesterday, Chris Reed was a wide receiver out of Wakiva. He was a 3-star wide receiver per 24/7 Sports. And he was out at Utah. I think he got in a couple of games, but more or less not enough to forego his red shirt. And he put this graphic. I superimposed his stats from 24/7 in the corner, but he put this graphic out yesterday, ready to strike with an aerial view.
I saw that. That was pretty dope.
Looks like almost like a pilot view.
Yeah,
like a pilot view.
Yeah.
Of Bragg Stadium. He said, "Let's get ready to strike." So, we can make assumptions about that, and I'm just going to assume that means he's on board with it. So he's adding to the wide receiver core.
He's coming, and it's pronounced.
And we did Wakiva, okay, and we did offer him in November 2021. So this is a re-offer. Once he jumped in the portal, I think about 2 weeks ago. I want to say April 24th or somewhere thereabouts. And so we did reach out to him in November 2021 and offer him, and it looks like he jumped in the portal and he was liking what he's seeing, and hopefully everything will prove itself out.
Right. All right. Appreciate that, Marcus. Kenya, I agree 100% with you what you said. I ain't gonna repeat it, but I agree. Every inch of it. No, not that particular comment, but another one. Don't even put it up there. But yes, he can block. He's 6'10" and 280. He better be able to block. Heck. Anyway, can he stay on the floor is the question. I know I jumped in late. It's good to see we're recruiting some track athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all get into talk about track? I know.
Not yet.
You got something you want to say, Brian, about track?
I want to celebrate champions. I mean, I just want to make sure we celebrate champions. That's what we do on this show. I didn't want to let it go before we close the show. If you guys had already talked about track, then okay. But if not, then we want to make sure to prop up the women's program, especially Talita Williams, the 400-meter dash champion. She finished second in the 200. Lauren Hall was the third fastest in the 100-meter dash. Mia Hurd, the second longest long jump. Karen Odamine, third farthest hammer throw. Are they throwing like a Thor type hammer? Is that what she's throwing? Like a
no.
That's what we're throwing, something like that. Like the Odin hammer, the nothing like that, huh?
Nah.
The 4x100 women's relay team. What was their previous high? They came into the tournament with the fastest time, right, fellas? I think it was a 4:45.35. If numbers, we ran a 45.05, which was 0.3 of a second. Is that right? 0.3 or 300ths?
0.3. 0.3
of a second.
Oh, it's 300s.
Okay. That's what I thought. 300ths.
What?
Yeah.
45.
Prairie View ran a 45.02. We ran a 45.05.
Yeah.
Yeah, 310.
Yeah.
300s, rather.
Yeah. So
100s.
we were that close.
Neck and neck.
Eyelash. Yeah, eyelash.
Yeah, that's an eyelash. That's an eyelash or a head nod. Somebody's left leg kicked out in front of somebody's right leg.
Fingernail.
That lean.
Flojo fingernail.
Yeah. That lean at the finish line.
Yeah. The women finished 7th overall with 63 points, 7th overall. But the real problem, the men's program had no top 3 finishes.
This ain't Bobby Lang's track team.
Scored 15 points.
Well, we didn't take a lot of guys there. We don't have a lot of guys on scholarship. That side needs to be built. Remember, they had APR issues. We were having that APR talk a while ago, and they had sanctions and so forth. Thank goodness, APR is back and looking better. They were one of the sports cross country anyway. And that was on the women's side though. That had a 1,000. But so yeah, he new coach. He's got to build his team, get his coaches in place, and all that good stuff. So it's gonna take a minute.
Here's what I wonder, and I've been paying attention to this the last couple seasons, and I'm like, why is it Prairie View and the women, Alabama State and the men, why are they just so dominant in track and field? And you know what it is?
Look at the budget and look at the facilities.
Man, come on.
Look at the budget and look at the facilities. It's not complicated. It's not complicated.
Run 5,000 meters. I just need some shoes, Kelvin. I don't need a budget. They got women running the 5,000 meters.
That's people who talk and dismiss facts.
I'm not dismissing. I'm
you're not articulating a counter. You're not articulating counter. I'm telling you. Look at their budget. Prairie View has the biggest budget. Alabama State is up there in the top 4 in budgets. And then you look at their facilities. They have the best facilities in the conference.
But you mean we can't find anybody to run the 10,000 meters, the 5,000 meters?
How many years
we can't find
let me tell you again. Look at their facilities. Look at their athletic budgets. Along with some
run. The highest they have. You mean you can't run up and down some hills all over top? We should have people running all over Tallahassee, Kelvin.
Man,
we
could barely walk up and down them hills.
If it was easy, hey, if it was easy, we'd have rings. Do we have rings? So shut up.
Okay. I'm just saying. Look.
We had a coach. Now we did have a coach who, we were winning championships, cross country, outdoor. She happens to be a AD, in South Georgia now. But we had a coach that was dominating, and that's when A&T was nationally known.
I wanted to catch up with her this weekend and ask her. I'm like, how come we can't look? I mean, but no. If you see, you understand how the point system go when you watch SWAC track. After day one, Prairie View had like a 50-point lead. Why? Because it ain't but Prairie View, Alabama.
In the field events, they dominated the field. They built up the points in the field events. Yeah,
and these distance runs.
Yeah,
they dominate, and it's just like him. I mean. We can't find nobody to run. I mean, we need. I mean, I don't know. We got a nice track. Can't you run around it 20 times? I don't know. I'm just saying. So the recruiting has to get better. Yes, I know we need a budget. I know we need to improve that. But man, I'm stumped that we can't find somebody to run in these distance races. Even if we got to give somebody some international scholarship money, I'm just saying. We can't find anybody in this country. Let's go get some opportunities to some people from other countries where they run long distances. I'm just trying to help the process along. We got to understand how to win. Look, yes, Kelvin says we need the budget. Yes, we need money. We need resources. But you also got to understand how to win these events. And you win these events by finding some kids who can.
But you gotta have Brian. You're talking. We ain't had a permanent coach in a whole year. We got a coach we have in January. We had an interim all last year. I mean, you got to have some stability in the leadership so that kids, you can't recruit people to come and they don't know if they're gonna be there, and they don't the person who's there is interim and don't know how long they're gonna be interim. Man, we fumbled the ball, and now it's going to take some time. Hopefully not too much time, but it's going to take some time to get some stability and some structure and some order in this thing. It ain't going to just unless you got all 5 rings, then you can snap.
Infinity Stone.
I'm missing one for the thumb.
Hey, you cannot. Interim coach is not going to recruit.
He's not the interim coach. The man. Look, go to the website. Look, the man's been hired. I know he's only been there for like a couple of months. I get it.
Okay, so he hasn't had a recruiting cycle yet.
All right, I'm just
win. You sound like a fan.
I sound like somebody who we in Florida with Florida athletes, and like my man Kofi said one time, you mean in Florida we can't find anybody to run? We can't find anybody? Nobody wants to run at FAMU, for FAMU?
When the last time we had a track championship?
Probably the last time we had somebody who ran a 5,000 meter or 10,000.
Hey, as a matter of fact, didn't we lose our 2 best track athletes over the last year or 2? One went to Miami and one went to Mississippi State.
Yeah,
then they come on our show. What did they tell you? You don't listen. But you're gonna learn today.
I listen, but it's still
wait a minute.
Here. It's still hard to hear.
Come here.
Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put you over my. Oh man, I don't know my leg and helmet, but come here.
How am Y'all sitting here talking about I sound like a fan. I'm sitting here, okay. That's fine. Yeah, you know, I get we have to do more with more, but at the same time, we got to do with what we got. Okay. I'm gonna be a fan, okay? That's fine. I'm gonna be a fan. I'm gonna sit over here off on the side and be a fan.
You gonna learn today.
All right.
We're gonna learn you something.
And when we
come here. Didn't we tell you?
When we address our long distance running needs, then y'all gonna come back to me and say, "Damn, Brian, you were right. We got some long distance runners now, man. They good. Look at them. They good. We started winning all of a sudden." All right.
Well, we got stability. On a serious note, we got stability now at the top. You know, with AD spot, and she's put her team together, and we got coaches now. So we'll be able to judge them as they move forward. He's recruiting now. Marcus just shared some of his recruits. So we are where we are, but we have opportunity to do more with more.
I hope so.
And Brian, I don't think anybody on Marcus's list is running the 5,000. Sorry, we got to keep going.
More sprinters. Whoop-de-doo. Great. That's wonderful. All right. Well, hey, it is what it is. We'll work it out. We'll figure out a way. Can I tease next week's show? We've got a guest lined up from the OBC, the Orange Blossom Classic, scheduled for next week. First hour of the show. That's going to be huge. Orange Blossom Classic, was that talked about?
No.
Not tonight.
That's right. That's right.
About
this is why you gagging right here. but you can gag all you want to. I'm gonna wear you out. You gonna learn today.
All right, see, I don't know what box you pulled that out of, but you gonna put that right back on the wall. Oh my God! All right,
no, this is a non-hazing show, Kelvin.
Got me over here coughing and choking up a lung. All right, Drew, it's on you. I'm throwing it back to you to close. Whatever you got to do, back to you, Drew.
You expect me to follow y'all up? You really expect me to follow this conversation?
I don't know. Marcus, final thoughts. Marcus.
Well, one quick thing, since I like to follow the recruiting thing, I hadn't even updated my spreadsheet, but I think the coaches probably offered like 15, 20 kids over the last day or two. I mean, they're out in football.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Between Virginia, I think there's a couple. I know Coach Spady. Apparently, he's out in the Panhandle.
Everybody's
one of the coaches in Central Florida. So I'm seeing, I'm trying to keep up, but it's almost like, and it may be more than that, but I know at least 15 offers, but maybe close to 20 over the last day between high schools in Virginia, some in Florida, but majority of them are out of Virginia. So I'm gonna try to keep track of that, try to catch up and keep everybody up to date. And just looking forward to, whatever comes down the pike. We're in our season. Well, baseball, they're the only sport that's still in it right now since the SWAC championships are over, and we don't have any people that qualified for NCAA regional. So I think track is pretty much done. So baseball is all we have left to hang our hat on. Oh, and also right before the show, the PGA collegiate something
golf
came in third. It was in golf.
Yeah.
I forgot the formal name of the tournament, but we came in third place.
Yeah.
We came in third?
Yep.
Yes.
I saw where we were on day one, and I stopped watching. I stopped watching.
Yeah, the PGA Works Collegiate Championship. We finished third.
Okay.
I'm not sure who finished first or second.
And the golf program, man, because I saw day one, and I was like, ooh, boy, it looked real bad after day one. It was like them guys must have hung out too late the night before or something. Came out there swinging the clubs like you and me. But anyway, okay. That's what's up. What you got, Kelvin?
Well, the coaches, we talked about football specifically in the recruiting. They're on the road. It's spring football practice going on around, so they're out on the road in their respective recruiting areas, and a lot of feedback, a lot of buzz on social media about that. And also we have a couple of summer camps, and I know we're gonna do a summer camp show coming up, but softball has a summer camp in June, as well as football have several different camps coming up. So Raleigh Nation, get ready to hear about those, and we'll have some of those folks come and talk about their camps as kids get ready to get out of school at the end of the month.
Guess which program won't be having summer camps?
Stop it.
I can't go there. I won't go there. I just, I just know, other shoot.
Brian,
I'm being real
those
messy.
who play that sport are going to vacation Bible school.
I'm being real messy. I just know when another school in Jacksonville, HBCU, hires a new basketball coach, a week later he got a camp with 3 different dates, an elite camp, and he's in Division II. Must be nice to have your own gymnasium, your own arena. Must be nice. We got 2. We can't even get in either.
Yeah. I was gonna joke with you, man, because we actually have more than that if you include a high school gym. So, but we do have some new equipment going into both Gaither and Lawson. I'm sure it's not at the same time, but yeah, I would love to see that camp. But we had one on who said exactly that they weren't going to do one. Some of the challenges behind it. It is what it is at this point, and we're still trying to get the other one to come back and do a season closing. So we'll see.
Y'all, I don't do this. I don't do this I do this to call this to attention. Really, I do. I do this to call attention to shine light in the dark corners of the room. That's all I'm going to say. Because if we don't shine light in the dark corners of the room, nobody else will. If nobody else is going to answer or act, let me backtrack. I don't know you, Rick, but I'm neither right now. Right now. Give me about 10 more minutes, and I might be one of those. Okay, Rick? No. Yeah, well, off the couch. Yeah, definitely. But no, that's all. I'm just, man, I guess I want us to be excellent, not some of the time, all the time. And again, every other aspect of our university talks and preaches and does excellent things. I know we have a new leadership that's working towards getting that stuff done. But everybody's not on board for making sure that's just my opinion. I'm probably wrong. I just don't think everybody's on board with making sure athletics and the athletic programs, let me say it more specifically, that all of the athletic programs can have success at the highest possible levels. We don't devalue the School of Business and Industry for the nursing program. We don't devalue the nursing program for the School of Journalism. We don't devalue education for engineering. If we treated every athletic program the same way we treat every school within our university and push them towards excellence and help them be excellent all the time, we wouldn't have these inconsistencies in our athletic programs where we have 1 or 2 programs being highly successful, whether it be academically or with financial support or with success on the field or court. All of them would be getting the same kind of support at the same time, just like we do within our schools. And that is all that's all I'm on. That's the only trip I'm on.
Well said. And so now, you're going back to what Kofi was pushing for. It starts with the top, our board of trustees and our president. I mean, they've got to value athletics the same way they value our academics, as same as they value our we're trying to be a top 100 school in terms of the rankings.
Consistent.
Well, we need to be the top school in the SWAC, at least athletically, in rankings from an athletic department budget standpoint. So, I mean, there it is. I mean, if we want champions, we got to pay for it. We got to invest in it.
Yeah. Before I give it to you, Drew, the last little thing, did you guys see the news that Bronny James signed with USC? So we begin the push to recruit Bryce James.
Man,
Brian, just stop. Just change
man.
Hey,
Bronny ain't
listen,
leaving home.
Let's
I don't know if he was standing up to him.
Going to come to FAMU to start with, just like Mikey Williams was going to Alabama State, right?
Hey, Mikey Williams might need to go to an HBCU. That might be the only place that'll take him now. I'm just saying.
Why we got to take everybody that though?
Well, because they get in trouble and then they got to come home and find us. And that's what we do.
That's what JUCO is for too.
No, anyway. So if I look, come join me. I'm gonna start the Twitter campaign. Bring Bryce to FAMU. That's it. Whatever. I'll come up with something catchy by next show, and I'll start the campaign.
All right, there you go, Brian. I'm encouraging you, my brother. You family. Yes.
Thank you. We are a king.
Rather I give you the damn powder.
We are a King James school. We are a King James school. Let me say that again. We are the first King James school. So to not have one of King James's, not to have the prince or a prince of the King James household would be wrong. So, hey, Bryce, 2025, let's go.
Hey, Brian.
Drew, it's on you to close out.
Brian.
Yes.
Baltimore is the home of Under Armour. Is Morgan State an Under Armour school?
That's different. What do you mean?
No, it ain't. Brian, I know it's late, but you dreaming before you go to bed. I'm just putting it out there like that, man.
He probably should have went to bed. He probably should have went to bed first. That's right, Kenya.
That's right.
I'm with Kenya. Hey. We can't even get a count. You talking about getting a James son?
Dream big.
I'm dreaming big. Hey, we missed one. We're not gonna miss on the other.
Yeah. Nah, I'm just gonna get out of here with this, fellas. I appreciate being here today with you guys, being with some real brothers. I'll just briefly share. I was a little bit in my feelings today. Had nothing to do with anything about this, but I was in my feelings today about some things that I saw transpire in some other places that some people did some foul stuff, and Ryan knows what I'm talking about. I was a little bit in my feelings today about this, but once again, being here with my family was therapy for me. So I just want to appreciate you guys for doing that, for being there for me, allowing me to sit in the big chair, in the captain's chair for the first hour till Brian was able to get here. Thank you, Brian, for letting me sit in your captain's chair, and you can have this son of a gun back. No, I'm just playing. I think this I know this is the most fun I've ever had being a guest on the O&G StrikeZone like I had today. So I just appreciate it, y'all. But I hope we have a quiet summer on the highest of 7 years athletically, because the last couple of summers have really been adventurous for our rattlers. So, and with that, I guess I'll see y'all in about another 5-6 months, man. at least on the show.
Yeah. All right. Thanks to everybody on watching us on Facebook and on YouTube. Please hit the thumbs up button on the way out the door. Feel free to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe wherever you can find us. Please go follow the O&G StrikeZone on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at O&G StrikeZone. Download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app on the Google Play or Apple App Store. Search MyJBN, MyBCSN, and then the Pod Zone. You do us a huge favor if you go find the BCSN Pod Zone. We are a part of the Black College Sports Network. All of our shows, as well as the other shows that are a part of the BCSN, appear on the BCSN Pod Zone. Great HBCU talk from all of us different content creators, whether it's school-specific or sports in general. Anything you want to listen to, you can find it, BCSN Pod Zone. So that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Hit the thumbs up on the way out.
What'd you say?
Hit the thumbs up on your way out.
Exactly. Thumbs up on the way out. Don't forget, next week, Kendra Bullock Majors, the CEO of the Orange Blossom Classic, will be joining us next week. That's going to be a good show. So make sure to tune in and reserve your questions. And got to give a shout out to all of the mothers that
absolutely
watch our show. To all of you guys, unfortunately, my mother's not around, but if your mother is still around in your life,
why he calls all the mothers who let their husbands watch this show.
Yeah. So to all the mothers, aunts, and grandmothers, wish all of them happy Mother's Day. Hopefully you get a chance to spend some time with those great women in your life. So that's going to do it. Toast to you, Edwin. That's going to do it for our show. You guys be well, be safe, and make sure to strike, and strike again this weekend. Good night, everybody. Peace out.
Well, holla.